I'd like to bring Gary up. Gary's one of our mechanics here. He's going to spend a few minutes with everyone. First of all, again, I'd like to thank everyone for a great motorcycle season, all your support this year. And anyway, I'm just going to start things off here. We're going to go over two different types of motorcycles tonight. We're going to go over basic carbureted motorcycles and then fuel injected motorcycles. The idea behind tonight is to give everyone a good idea of just the basic minimums that should be done to your motorcycle. A lot of things we don't think about when we put the bike away for storage for the winter.
So at Auto Good Time Center, what we normally do is, first of all, we make sure your bike's nice and washed and clean. That removes any dirt, debris, grime, and salt that can eat away at your paint. If you can, is to spray it with a rust inhibitor. Once it is on the bench, what we check for is we also check inside your tire pressures to make sure that they're set to manufacturer specs, and also look at the condition of the tires. So what we want to do is to make sure that there's no cracking. You know, when skin gets dry, it gets all cracked and brittle. Your tires end up doing that too. And also check to see how much rubber you actually have left.
Yeah, you really look for the cracks sometimes. What are the most common areas for tires to crack?
The most common areas are usually on the side and on the tread. You'll see it more predominantly on either side. And if it's too deep, like you stick a little screwdriver in it, then the tires are unsafe at that point. Also, check your brakes. Make sure that they are they have enough material on them. What you'll do is, if you have a little pen light, just look inside or a flashlight to see how much material is there. 1 millimeter thickness of pad is what is considered to be safe. Anything below that is considered unsafe.
Besides the fact that with brakes especially, the pads are relatively inexpensive, really easy to change, and you can save yourself a lot of money by taking a look at them as opposed to going down into the road.
Next, sticking with the front end of the motorcycle, we also do a visual inspection of the motorcycle going front to back. Check your forks to make sure that they're not leaking. What happens is when they do start leaking, we leave a little room around halfway where they travel. That's an indication that your fork seals are starting to leak, and they should be changed at that point.
We get a lot of bikes going for servicing, you can actually see a dirt and trail mark of oil right down the forks and piling on the calipers. So it is a good idea once in a while, like I said, just do a visual once around your motorcycle and catch small stuff like that.
There's 3 types of drive systems: belt, shaft, and chain drive. And what you're looking for, or what we look for, is with chain drives, is make sure that the chain's lubricated and adjusted correctly. A chain should be lubricated every 300 to 500 kilometers.
One of the indications the chain is starting to wear too is that they develop what's called tight spots.
This would be belt drive. If you have a belt drive, fantastic. Belt drive, you have the best of both worlds. You have the performance of the chain, but also the lack of maintenance needed for a shaft drive. Belt drive, you want to check the condition of the belt to make sure that it's not fraying. There's none of the teeth are missing in the cogs, and the tension on a belt drive bike is different than a chain drive. It actually has to be tight. You do need to lift the back end of the motorcycle and rotate the tire to make sure that there are no thin spots in the belt or none of the teeth are missing on the belt. That's usually, when that starts happening, it's usually with high mileage. You can touch on is brake fluid. That's another thing that we look for. Condition of the brake fluid, as it gets older, it starts to discolor and turn to a brown. Normally, it's like a clear gold or like a white.
There's a couple things you should focus on. One is condition, where you need your motorcycle. The second thing is proper winter storage of your particular motorcycle. We're going to talk about fuel itself. Fuel has a shelf life. It tends to go bad over a period of time. 15 to 20 minutes to properly store your motorcycle at the end of the season can save you 3 to 4 hours labor. So what you do is deal with the fuel tank itself. Condensation is an issue. When water gets in the rusted tank and stuff like that. So specifically if you're in an environment where it's not heated, there's temperature changes, and there's condensation being created, you have to be more careful on this issue, and that's, you want to make sure you fill the fuel tank up to the top.
Gasoline will lose 1 octane point per month. So depending on how long you're storing your bike, you should put in the highest octane you possibly can. For liquid cooled motorcycles, we recommend that you start the bike and let it run until the cooling fan comes on. That way the motorcycle has reached its operating temperature, and if there's any residual moisture sitting in the exhaust pipe, it will burn off. Air-cooled motor, that you're just going to let it run for 2-3 minutes. So once you change the oil, you're almost pretty much done, except for the electric battery. Now, if you're storing it indoors in a heated area or that's chemically controlled, a lot of times you don't have to remove the battery. You can actually install battery tender leads or a battery tender charger. There's a couple over there. There's a small one and a bigger one. And these are smart chargers. And with smart chargers, what they do is they come on and off automatically. So you just hook them up, red to red, black to black, and then plug it into the wall and it'll be.
Batteries are quickly becoming the biggest maintenance issue on people's motorcycles. 15 years ago, the bikes weighed 150 pounds more, everything was bigger. The batteries were twice the size they are now. Most of the bikes now are being produced with what's called a gel. Gel batteries is they require a lot more supervision by the owner. If you're in an environment where it's cold, you're going to have to pull the battery out. You have no choice. You have to bring it inside. You don't want to put it on the concrete floor. You want to have it on something like isolated wood or something like that on a shelf. If you put it on a concrete floor, it will draw amperage out. Mice love motorcycles. They love to make a home in people's motorcycles over the wintertime. It's warm, it's comfortable. There are some things you can do to stop rodents. The first thing is they hate, believe it or not, bounce sheets. So same stuff you put in your dryer, the bounce sheets. Specifically if you're in a shed, in a cold garage, anywhere where there's, like I said, keep your wood for your fireplace, stick a couple bounce sheets down the exhaust pipes, not so far that you can't get it out, but just in so that it distracts them. You can take a few, shove them underneath the tank. It doesn't have to be up underneath hard, just somewhere so the key areas that you start going in behind, underneath the carburetor where Gary's pointing at, so anywhere up and under here, in your exhaust, in the mat, tucked in, under the seat, the seat opens up easily. You don't have to go crazy, but 4 or 5 bounce sheets in specific places will save you a lot of hassle. The other thing I like to do in air environments where so the virus is I take a plastic bag and I put it over the exhaust, the end, and I take a little electrical tape and wrap it around on the plastic so it doesn't stick to the pipe or whatever. So it's
once you've done that to both bikes, it is recommended that you cover them with something. It's not just a plastic sheet, or a bag sheet. A motorcycle-specific cover. Why a motorcycle-specific cover? Why can't I just use that sheet? Well, motorcycle-specific cover allows it to breathe, but doesn't allow moisture to get in. It actually has a moving.
Yeah, the worst thing to do is to make your tire tarp. You're better off to put no cover on than a big plastic tarp. We appreciate everyone coming out tonight. Anyone has any individual questions, by all means, that's what we're here for. Again, if you don't feel comfortable with the storage facility you have, come ask us and we can talk about it, or we do offer storage here on site. Also, any sort of service work you get done over the winter time, there's a 15% discount. So a lot of times when you need a major servicing and stuff like that, you can cover most of the storage costs with that servicing. And come springtime, you're ready to go. You don't have to book your bike for a storage appointment or a service appointment. And you know the bike is stored properly. So if you have any questions, let us know. And like I said, we do oil changes before the bikes go in for storage if you need it done. If you're storing yourself and you're not coming to an oil change, by all means, stop by, we do oil changes while you wait. And we'll go from there. So I appreciate everyone saying bye. Any individual questions, come see us.